You know that feeling when you scroll through endless listings, see a sleek 16-inch machine with a crazy fast processor and a rainbow-lit keyboard, and think, this is the one. Only to discover after a few weeks that the heat climbs like a sauna, the fans sound like a jet engine, and the battery barely makes it through a single multiplayer session? I've been there, and I've also heard the same story from a lot of fellow gamers who end up paying a premium for a laptop that feels more like a portable workstation than a smooth-running battle rig. That's why I wanted to break down the Acer Predator Helios Neo 16-inch gaming laptop before you click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the display. Acer markets this as a premium display technology, and, on paper, that means a high refresh rate, good color coverage, and low response time. In practice, when you fire up a fast-paced shooter like Valorant or a visually intense RPG, such as Cyberpunk 2077, the 16-inch panel holds up. The colors stay vivid even when you crank up the graphics settings, and the 165 Hz refresh rate actually translates to buttery smooth motion when the GPU can keep up. The downside? The panel peaks at around 300 nits, so in a bright room you'll notice some washout. If you game mostly in a dimly lit bedroom or use a hooded space, you won't miss it, but for daytime couch gaming you might have to raise the brightness and trade a bit of battery life. Speaking of the GPU, the Helios Neo ships with a fairly recent high-end graphics card that, combined with the 12th generation Intel, or AMD, depending on the exact SKU, processor, delivers solid frame rates in current titles at 1080p and even respectable numbers at 1440p if you dial back a few settings. What matters more than raw specs is how it behaves under sustained load. After an hour of continuous Battle Royale play, the laptop's performance stayed within a 5% variance, which is impressive for a thin and light design. However, you'll notice the CPU and GPU temperatures creeping into the high 80 SC range, and that's where the fan system steps in. The cooling solution is one of the most talked about parts of any gaming laptop, and the Helios Neo uses Acer's Cool Boost technology with dual fans and multiple heat pipes. In my tests, the fans kicked in aggressively once the temperature hit about 70 C, producing a noticeable whine that can be distracting if you're trying to listen to in-game audio cues or a voice chat. The noise level is comparable to a small desktop tower, not a whisper-quiet notebook. If you're fine with a bit of background hum and you value performance over silence, that's acceptable. But if you plan to game in a shared space or stream with a mic that picks up fan noise, you'll probably need a noise-reducing headset or an external mic with a pop filter. Now let's talk about the keyboard, because that's where the customizable RGB backlit claim becomes more than a marketing line. The key travel is a decent 1.5 millimeters, giving you a tactile feel that's better than many entry-level gaming laptops. The perky RGB lighting is programmable through Acer's Predator Sense software, so you can set zones for health, ammo, or even sync with your in-game events. In practice, the lighting works, but the software can be a little clunky. You'll sometimes have to restart the program for changes to apply. For most gamers, that's a small price to pay for a keyboard that feels responsive enough for fast combos. Memory and storage are where this model really shines. With 64 GB of RAM and a 2 TB NVMe SSD, you're looking at a machine that can handle massive game worlds, heavy mod packs, and simultaneous streaming software without breaking a sweat. In real-world terms, I was able to have a game, a Discord server, OBS, and a web browser all running side by side, and the system never stuttered. If you're a content creator who edits footage on the go, that storage capacity means you won't be swapping external drives every night. The only practical downside is that the RAM is soldered, so you can't upgrade it later. Good thing it's already overkill for most people. Battery life is where the trade-off becomes obvious. With a 99 Wh battery, you might expect a decent unplugged session, but under gaming loads the laptop drains at roughly 15 W per hour, giving you about 2.5 hours of continuous play before you're back at an outlet. For a portable gaming experience, that's on the low side. If you're using the machine for productivity tasks like coding, browsing, or video editing, you'll stretch that to 56 hours. But as soon as the GPU spikes, the clock ticks down fast. In short, treat this as a desktop replacement you'll carry to a coffee shop, not a long-haul travel companion. Portability itself is a mixed bag. The chassis is made from an aluminum-reinforced polymer that feels solid, yet the device still weighs around 5.2 pounds and is about 0.9 inches thick. It's not as light as an Ultrabook, but it's manageable for a gamer who needs